new. Microsoft AI update is insane. Microsoft just dropped something wild. You can now run 100 billion parameter AI on your laptop. No GPU needed. 6 times faster than normal models. Uses 82% less power. This changes everything for local AI. Listen, what I'm about to show you is actually insane. Microsoft just released an update that lets you run AI models on your regular computer CPU. No fancy GPU needed, and we're not talking about some weak model. We're talking about models that compete with Llama and Quen. Okay, so here's what happened. Microsoft has this thing called BitNet CPP. They launched it in October 2024, and they just dropped a massive update in 2025 that adds GPU support and new models. But here's the crazy part. These models use something called 1.58-bit quantization. That sounds technical, but stick with me because this is wild. Normal AI models use 16-bit or 8-bit numbers for their weights. BitNet uses ternary weights. That means each weight can only be -1, 0, or +1. 3 options. That's it. You're probably thinking, doesn't that make the model dumb? Nope. And I'm going to show you the benchmarks in a second. That will blow your mind. So, why does this matter? Because when you only have 3 possible values, your computer doesn't need to do complex math. It just does addition and subtraction, no multiplication. That's way faster and uses way less energy. Let me give you the numbers. The BitNet B1.58 model with 2 billion parameters uses only 0.4 GB of memory. Compare that to Llama 3.21b, which uses 2 GB. That's 5 times smaller. But here's where it gets really good. The BitNet model actually performs better on benchmarks. On GSM-8K, which tests math reasoning, BitNet scored 58%. Llama 3.21b scored only 38%. That's a huge difference. And get this, BitNet processes each token in 29 milliseconds on a CPU. Llama takes 48 milliseconds. So BitNet is faster and smarter and smaller. The energy usage is even more insane. BitNet uses 0.028 joules per token. Llama uses 0.258 joules. That's almost 10 times more energy for worse performance. Now, imagine you're running the AI profit boardroom and you want to automate your customer support. You could run BitNet on a cheap server with no GPU and handle thousands of queries per day. The energy cost would be basically nothing. Or say you want to build an AI assistant that helps your community members with AI automation questions. You could deploy this on edge devices. It could run on phones, on IoT devices, on cheap hardware. Here's what makes this even better. Microsoft tested a simulated 100 billion parameter model on a single CPU core. It ran at 5 to 7 tokens per second. That's human reading speed on one CPU core, no GPU. Think about what that means. Right now, if you want to run a 100B model, you need expensive cloud GPUs. You're paying dollars per hour. With BitNet, you could run it locally for almost free. First, you go to GitHub and clone the repository. It's github.com Microsoft to BitNet. It has over 24,000 stars. This is legit. You'll need to create an environment. Just run create mbitnet cppy equals 3.9, then activate it. Next, you download the model from Hugging Face. Microsoft released the BitNet B1.58 2B4 model in GGUF format. You can grab it with Hugging Face, Kelly Microsoft, BitNet, B8, 2B, 40, GGUF. Then you run the setup script Python setup jmv.py with the model path and quantization flag I2S. That's the optimized kernel they use. Now, if you want to dive even deeper into AI automation, I've got something special for you. I run a community called the AI Profit Boardroom, the best place to scale your business, get more customers, and save hundreds with AI automation. Learn how to save time and automate your business with AI tools like Microsoft. The link is in the comments and description. It's at school.com/AI Profit Lab. And then you just run inference Python, run inference.py with your model and a prompt. You could try something like Write me a customer onboarding email for the AI Profit Boardroom that explains how our community helps people automate their business with AI. And boom, it generates the text right there on your CPU. Fast, efficient, local. Now, here's what I love about this. You're not sending your data to the cloud. Everything stays on your machine. That's huge for privacy. That's huge for businesses that can't send customer data to third parties. All right. So let me tell you why this matters beyond just the cool tech. First, this makes AI accessible to everyone. You don't need a $10,000 GPU. You don't need to pay for API calls. You can run powerful models on a laptop from 2020. Second, this is way better for the environment. AI training and inference use massive amounts of energy. Data centers are eating up electricity. With BitNet using 82% less energy, that's a huge win. Third, this enables edge AI. You can put AI on phones, on cameras, on robots, on IoT devices. Imagine a security camera that can analyze video locally with no internet connection, or a drone that can navigate using AI without sending data back to a server. Fourth, this is faster when you're not waiting for API calls or cloud latency. Everything just works instantly. For the AI Profit Boardroom, if we wanted to build a real-time AI assistant that helps members troubleshoot automation issues, we could deploy BitNet locally and get instant responses. Now let me talk about the technical details for a second because they're actually really clever. BitNet uses something called ABS mean scaling. That means it scales the ternary weights by their absolute mean value. That keeps the model accurate even with such low precision. The activations are still 8-bit, so you have 1.58-bit weights, but 8-bit activations. That's where the name comes from. They use optimized kernels called I2S and TL. These are custom CPU and GPU operations that are specifically designed for ternary math. That's why it's so fast. And here's something wild. The latest updates in May 2025 added GPU support. So now you can run BitNet on GPUs too, and it's even faster. They support models up to 10 billion parameters. Let me give you another benchmark. When you compare BitNet to Qwen 2.5 1.5B, BitNet uses 0.4 GB versus 2.6 GB. So BitNet has 29 milliseconds latency versus 65 milliseconds for Qwen. And BitNet uses 0.028 joules versus 0.347 joules for Qwen. On GSM 8K, BitNet scored 58.38% and Qwen scored 56.79%. So they're basically tied in accuracy, but BitNet is way smaller, way faster, and way more efficient. The MMLU benchmark, which tests general knowledge, shows Qwen slightly ahead at 60.25% versus BitNet at 53.17%. So, BitNet is a bit weaker on pure knowledge, but for most practical tasks, that difference doesn't matter. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. Microsoft is going to keep improving this. They're working on larger models, they're optimizing the kernels even more, and other companies are going to start copying this approach. We're already seeing derivatives. There's the Aramis 2B model, which is a BitNet variant. There are community projects on GitHub experimenting with different quantization schemes. This is going to become the standard for local AI. Why would you use a 2 GB model when you can use a 0.4 GB model that's faster and better? For content creators, this is huge. You could run AI writing assistants locally. For developers, you can embed AI into apps without cloud costs. For businesses, you can deploy AI at scale without massive infrastructure. Now, you might be wondering, what's the catch? Is there a downside? The main limitation is that BitNet is still relatively new. The model selection is limited compared to the thousands of models available in 8-bit or 16-bit formats, but that's changing fast. Also, while BitNet is great for inference, it doesn't change the training process. You still need GPUs to train these models. But once they're trained, anyone can run them. And some tasks that need really high precision might not work as well with 1.58-bit models. But for most use cases, language generation, question answering, content creation, it works great. Here's my prediction. Within a year, most local AI tools will switch to BitNet or similar 1-bit approaches. It just makes too much sense. You get better performance, lower cost, better privacy, and it works on any hardware. That's a no-brainer. If you want to try this yourself, go to the GitHub repo. The instructions are clear. You can have it running in 10 minutes. And if you get stuck, there are YouTube tutorials and guides that walk through every step. Now, if you want to dive even deeper into AI automation, I've got something special for you. I run a community called the AI Profit Boardroom, the best place to scale your business, get more customers, and save hundreds with AI automation. Learn how to save time and automate your business with AI tools like Microsoft. And if you want the full process, SOPs, and 100+ AI use cases like this one, join the AI Success Lab. You'll get all the video notes from there, plus access to our community of 40,000 members who are crushing it with AI. The link is in the comments and description. It's at school.com/AI Profit Lab.